Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to this week's edition of the Principal's Office. I am so glad to see you. I am Jamal. I'm an igniter of champion leaders. I help the aspiring school leaders make the shift from the classroom and go to the principal's office and stay there. And so, this is the time every week where we talk about leadership and from a school, in a school, and from a leadership perspective, we talk about everything related to school leadership. And so here's what I have for you today. Today we're talking about when things get gritty, overcoming the challenges of igniting change in your school building. Because a lot of times when we think about change, we think about the obvious things when it comes to the school system and school leadership. Now, before I really dig into this, I just want to remind you to comment, to like, to share, and to save this video if it's being a blessing to you and enhancing how you operate as a school leader. And so here we go. When we think about being a school leader, we often recognize that there's going to be a lot of paperwork, a lot of unrealistic expectations placed upon us. We might think about the challenges of student behavior and school culture, or maybe dealing with some angry parents. Those are the normal challenges that we may think of. But we might not think about the fact that we may have a challenge with adults, the adults we serve. We might not think about, the people we are serving, it may be challenging, except we may say, hey, we have to try to connect with them and we have to find their language, that they like to be served and how we can connect and learn their personality types and all of those things, which is very important to do. But there are other challenges that come along with leading that involve the people you serve that you might not even recognize because it's not really talked about. And so I want to share this with you, not from a place of, well, I don't want to scare you, but I want to make sure you know and you are armed and you are ready for the other part of what comes along with school leadership. And so here it is. You may have to change some things in order to move the school to the next level. Change may be necessary. No matter how good things are going, there will always be opportunities for growth and change as a school building because you're going to grow as a leader. Your teachers are growing as instructors. The students are growing as students. And the way this growth is maintained or properly cared for is by ensuring the entire school grows with it. Okay, and so with that, you may have to change some stuff, which may be challenging to people who don't like change or might not be ready. Now, of course, you got to make sure people are ready for change and you have to prep them. But after you've done all that prep work, there still comes some other stuff. And so I don't want you to be fooled by what I call an artificial culture. An artificial culture is one that appears one way, but beneath the surface is something totally different. It's not real. It may seem warm, inviting, and supportive, but once you get beneath the surface and once people have to get stretched beyond their comfort zone, the reality of what the culture really is like may come forward. Because here's the thing, some adults may be resistant to the changes that are needed to move forward. And like I said, don't try to implement something too quickly because change has a pace. But also recognize because change has a pace, you can't move too slowly either. And so the urgency of what you're doing will determine, as well as the preparation of change that determines your pace. And I'll say that again. The urgency that's needed for the change, along with the preparation that's put in place, meaning preparing the people, the systems, the processes, that would determine the pace that you take with the change. Okay. And so now look at this. Check this out. Your stance as a leader and as an igniter, you may have to advocate for teachers to the district personnel and then advocate to those same people that you just helped for the students. It may put you, there's no one side or the other. As an igniter of leaders, as an igniter in your school building, as a champion leader, your side is the side of justice and what's right for the students as well as the teachers. So you may have to advocate for the teachers, then advocate for the students, against and advocate for and against the same people. Because even though we say we have to do what's best for students, you have to do what's best for everybody that you're leading. But recognize students come first because they are the ones who didn't make the choice or have less choice in the matter. The adults knew what they were signing up for when they came to work for you or work in that building or serve in that building. And so to a degree, they are ready and they have the capacity to rally around the vision. That's why they're there. Now check this out. Some of you, well, I'll say it this way. You might not realize that some of the people that you help, that you support, that you love on, that you care for, that you are there for in their time of need, they may be the same people that hurt you. And so let me let you think about that for a second. All right, because I wanted you to ponder that, because the same people who you help and support may be the ones who hurt you. And just like that graphic says, love shouldn't hurt, but it will hurt you. They'll be the ones that may question you. They may be the ones who defame you, who talk about you, who really act, who say you don't know me, you're not considering me or my feelings, or you're not considering my perspective, when you are doing everything to consider their perspective. And let me throw this out to you as well. As a school leader, you are not part of a union, and so they may try more stuff. More foolishness may come your way that is detrimental to your career because you're not unionized. And so while the teachers have a union to protect them from foolishness, you don't. And then because you're in a certain position, you may have to deal with foolishness not only from the teachers union, because depending on how they are, they might just not like administration. You might have to deal with something from your direct supervisor or even school board members. Now, keep in mind, I am not against unions or anything like that, but I just understand the dynamic, because things that are made to protect people can actually become harmful if the wrong person is leading that. Meaning that if there's a toxic person who's in charge of the union or has a high position on the school board or is your supervisor, then that causes something that's meant for good to be used as a weapon against you. And you don't be deceived by niceness and kindness, because that person may still try to get you when you make the stance for doing what's right for the students. And so you have to be careful. You have to be aware, and don't be naive, because some folks may come at you. They may attack your leadership, how you lead. If you're qualified to lead, they may attack your character. They may attack, anything about you personally. They might try political stuff as a way of discrediting you. And they want to and that act of discrediting you will be not to discredit you as a person per se. That's not really the goal. The goal is to discredit you, to shut down the work that you are doing, because you are pushing people into a place of discomfort. And so they get into, instead of allowing themselves to be stretched, they get into this fight or flight. And so I'm just telling you the reality that happens. Now remember, this is not everybody, but you may have to deal with this from some people, okay? Now check this out. They may do some other stuff. They may start rumors. They might spread lies about you. They might try to dissuade other teachers from agreeing with you. I mean, that peer pressure is a thing. They may say, look, I support you, but I can't let my coworkers know because I don't want confusion with them because I have to work with them. Sometimes people won't speak up who support you or disagree with the foolishness that they're trying to put at you, because they don't want to be at odds with their coworkers, with their union president, and they don't want to feel like they're going to be excluded because they have to value or support their teammate over admin. because sometimes people will, you can tell this is live because folks is calling me. Sometimes people will try to create this toxic atmosphere of admin against teachers, which is not right. Even no matter how much you try to unify, the people creating that dissension may be engaging in toxic behavior because of something that's going on with them, and that dissension keeps them in a place of feeling good and in a place of power. So you got to be cautious. Now they also now may try to put obstacles in your way, or to limit your ability to perform, then hold you accountable for that performance. Now, that may come specifically from a direct report, a supervisor, or even a board member. I have seen board members put obstacles in the way of the superintendent and limit that superintendent's ability to do their job just so they can have a form of control. And then that trickled down to how they try to limit the function of the school leaders. And so you have to be careful because they put those roadblocks in your way to your performance and then try to hold you accountable and say you're not performing. You get what I'm saying? It's this political game that you may have to deal with, all because of power. Now, and I'm going to tell you this, all of that resistance and that power play, that hunger for power, is not about you as a person. It's a resistance to the work. It's a resistance to the progress and the things that you are igniting and that's what you are standing for. Because some will prefer the comfort of the familiar rather than the discomfort of stepping into greatness. And then some will prefer the power and the clout and whatever they get from position and being in control and getting the credit rather than seeing what's best for students occur. And so these are the kind of toxic mindsets that you may have to combat, that produce toxic behavior that you're going to have to overcome as you are leading in the school and igniting change, because all of that is a part of what you may have to deal with as a school leader. Now, that's the part that's not talked about. That's the part that no one hears about, no one shares about. That's the part that when you share about it, somebody may say, oh, you're being disgruntled. Or I'm telling you this, it's not about what people say, it's about the reality. The same politics that occur in other industries occur in education, but you wouldn't think it to be so because we're all here for the children. But let me tell you something. Everybody is not present for the children like you are present for the children. So you have to be wise, and I would say be discerning and protect yourself and know how to engage with people at a level and in a way that you cannot fall prey to their devices, and that even if you are targeted, because doing the right thing you probably will be, you can still lead above the foolishness and not let it destroy, one, the work you're doing, and two, your career. Because they would try to come at you something seriously, and they would do whatever it takes to get you out that building, depending on the level of toxicity that they are experiencing in their own life. And so I want to tell you just one thing: be careful, be very careful, and be cautious. Now, if you are working in this toxic type of environment where you're dealing with board members or direct report or even union people, and I'm not saying the teachers, I'm saying sometimes, like I said earlier, the people in the position, they may drive the toxic behavior, and the other teachers might not even agree, and they may be vocal about it. They may be vocal to you and vocal publicly, but still, can't stop the foolishness. If you want help navigating through those things so you can stay out of the dunk tank, stay out of, the grit that people, or the things that people try to trap you in, go ahead. You see this link on your screen. Reach out to me. I will help you. I have one-on-one sessions that are truly confidential, and I will help you develop a strategy to navigate around that. Now, if you're saying I'm not dealing with it, but I want to learn so I don't have to, still reach out to me, because you shouldn't have to go through those kind of challenges. And I'm just be honest with you. I went through those challenges turning around schools. I went through challenges working in the charter world. And then when I got to traditional public, I thought it would be better. And then it was better until a certain point. And then once that point got hit, I started to see these same toxic behaviors from people, fighting and arguing over power. And because I chose not to participate, and focus on what was best for students, I was able to see a degree of success. But then eventually, I couldn't be neutral any longer because my neutrality then put me in a position where I was then targeted because I wasn't conforming to what someone wanted me to do that wasn't best for students. And so it's out there. It happens. You don't have to be afraid. I want you to be wise so you can continue to lead like a champion. All right, that's it for this week. Join me on Clubhouse at 6:10 p.m. Eastern today for this conversation so we can talk about it. I want to hear your experience, hear your thoughts, hear your strategies, and we can dig deeper into these things that happen. Now, I will tell you this, don't focus on why it's happening to you. Focus on leading above it. All right, that's it. So lead like a champion. Bye-bye.